this is it essentially pretty much right out of the box. I'm gonna go through just at my roots to help direct these fibers in the direction I want them to go. And of course, you can part it on the left, on the right, in the center. The circumference, it's pretty, 3 adorable styles that Raquel Welch just came out with this fall of 2024. Hi everybody, welcome back to the Chiquel YouTube channel. My name is Amanda and today I have all 3 of Raquel Welch's newer fall releases. So they were released a few weeks ago. I finally have them here today to show you. But before I jump into it all, I'm gonna remind you to like this video and subscribe to my YouTube channel so you can learn even more about alternative hair. All right, so I do have all 3 of Raquel Welch's new releases. I have Model Mode, Cruise Control, and Flash Forward. I will go through and give you a rundown of everything you need to know about each of these wigs. What I'm also going to do is I'm going to show you how I personally like to change and set apart on my heat-friendly synthetic wigs. All right, so I'm going to first start with the longest one that they have, which I think it might be my favorite style out of the 3. And this one is called Model Mode. This is a long, loosely curled, flowy wig that is just going to turn heads. It is beautiful. The problem here, as much as I absolutely love this style on, this is one that people are likely going to have troubles with in terms of maintaining it. Long styles in general, especially long styles that are heat-friendly synthetic fibers, and especially long styles that are heat-friendly synthetic fibers that have curls or waves to them, they are hard to maintain. You're gonna find that it is going to tangle quickly, it is going to frizz at the ends quickly, it is going to clump up, and you're likely going to get a little bit annoyed if you aren't prepared for that or if you aren't used to heat-friendly synthetic fibers. I feel like I need to make this very clear to you guys because often people will get these wigs and they'll be like, oh wow, this is such a beautiful style, I love it so much. They wear it a couple times and then they come back to me and are like, oh my gosh, this wig is faulty. There's something wrong with this wig. It is already clumpy and frizzy. What am I doing wrong? Well, you're not doing anything wrong. It is honestly just the nature of heat-friendly synthetic fibers that are long and that are curly. I won't go into how to maintain and take care of all the frizzy ends, but I have previously made videos on how to take care of heat-friendly fibers, how to use heat on them, and how to get rid of the frizzy ends. So make sure you go and check those videos out. They will be helpful in order to make sure you know what to expect and what you're doing with these heat-friendly synthetic fibers. Oh my gosh, since this is so long and I'm like holding it up to make sure you guys see this style, my arm is just getting so tired up here. I'm gonna switch arms. Okay, I'm showing this here in the color RL8/29SS Shaded Hazelnut, which is one of my most favorite fall type colors. So this is going to have a base of an 8, which is going to be a medium brown. So you definitely see that medium brown in here. And then the 29 is going to be all these beautiful hazelnutty, coppery tones that you see highlighted throughout. And then the SS in that color code is going to mean shadow shade, which is another term for a root. So it is a medium brown root, which is typically, or technically, a very similar color to the rest of the brown within the wig. So the rooting is not very obvious. What it does is it gives it the illusion of a little bit of a grown out highlight so that the highlights aren't right up to the root. Anyways, it's a really beautiful color. I love this brunette. Let me give you a peek at this cap. All these are gonna have a full monofilament top. So that means that all these fibers are hand tied by somebody's hands onto this monofilament. It's like a lace-like material, and it gives you the illusion of a part line, and it also allows you to part it anywhere you like within this section here. So anywhere on top you can part this wig. And it goes into this lace front here that extends into your ear tabs. So that lace front gives you the ability to pull it off of your face, and it gives you the illusion that it's growing right from your hairline. This also has an open wefted cap. So open wefting means that all of the hair is, or all of the fiber in this case, is machine sewn into rows like this, and it's open so you can stick your fingers through the holes. It's ventilated, it's breathable, and it's stretchy. We also have velvet ear tabs with metal stays in it. So the velvet makes it nice and comfy, nice and cozy. And the metal stays help to make sure that your wig is not flopping around right at your temples here, that it can lay flush against your head. And then we have an extended velvet nape right here with Velcro adjusters to adjust your circumference. Okay, let me finally put model mode on here. And I'm gonna show you with model mode how I'm gonna change the part on this one. So they all come with a zigzag part in them. This one, the zigzag part it's sort of there, but not really. And that's mostly just because I've already put this wig on to do a video on Instagram. So I have put this wig on, I haven't worn it. I still actually have the tags on. So I haven't worn this other than putting it on for an Instagram video. So the zigzag part is sort of gone, sort of not, but I haven't truly touched it. It's just from me like flopping around with the fibers. So this is it essentially, pretty much right out of the box. Now, I know I was talking about tangles on these longer fibers, and I will say that even though I've only put this on, I think 2 times, not to officially wear, but just to film a video, it's already tangly. I haven't taken a comb to detangle it yet. I haven't taken a wide tooth comb to it yet. What I do recommend when you have these wavier, curlier pieces, I don't recommend going in first with a wide tooth comb, and I definitely don't recommend going in with like a bristle brush, because that is going to pull at your fibers and that is what's going to make them frizzy. What I do recommend is starting with your fingers to help work any knots out and help get rid of those tangles. So your fingers should be your first solution to your tangle problem. Once you feel like you have a lot of the tangles out, you've kind of worked through them with your fingers, not pulling through them, but working through them, if that makes sense, then you could go through with your comb to just make sure it's going to go nice and smoothly. But remember, don't pull, don't go quickly. As soon as you hit a snag, like I'm kind of hitting a snag here, I'm not gonna wrestle my way through it. I'm gonna take it out, then I'm gonna go through with my fingers again, gently work through it, and then try with my comb again. And it's gonna be a lot more gentle on your fibers, help them last a little bit longer before you have to apply heat to them to get those ends looking nice and smooth. Okay. Let me give you a little spin so that you can see what this wig looks like. Okay, so for me, I love a good center part when I have these long wigs. Now, I said I was gonna show you how I would change the part on this. So see how I don't really have a distinct part line here? It's a little bit messy. It's not really fully there. So first of all, let me just show you what a left part looks like. I prefer center parts on my longer wigs. So I will ultimately do a center part, show you how I do that. But this is what a left part would look like on this style, if you are a side part kind of a gal. And of course, it can do a right part as well, since we have that full monofilament top. So there's more of a right part. So like I said though, I am a center part person when it comes to these longer styles. So what I like to do is get my center part, or get whatever part I want, and to help set the part and make sure the fibers aren't going to continue to move forward, sorry, I had to find my spray bottle there. I like to take water, spray it in the part line, and that's gonna help sort of direct the fibers where you want them to go. And then once I've sprayed them, I'm gonna want them to make sure that they set in this position so that they aren't gonna flop forward, or they're not gonna go in any direction that I don't want them to. And in order to set your heat defiant fibers, you need some heat. So I prefer using a hot comb in situations like these. My hot comb is just from Amazon. It's just standard hot comb. This brand is Andis, A-N-D-I-S. I think the link for my specific comb that I specifically got is no longer, but honestly, a lot of these hot combs on Amazon are very similar to each other. I like to set this one on 1. on the lowest setting. And that's because these hot combs get really hot. So I like to set it on the lowest setting, and for me, that is good enough. Once I've done that, I'm gonna go through just at my roots to help direct these fibers in the direction I want them to go. So I'm just gonna run them through at the roots very gently, and being careful that I'm not going through my whole style with this. If I'm going through my whole style with heat, that's gonna take out this curl. So any heat you apply to your style, that's going to completely change the style that it has. So I'm sticking to my roots. I'm making sure that I don't go beyond sort of this point here. So getting that heat on there, making sure you're not lingering too long in one position. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hold it in this spot here like this. I could get a clip and clip it, but I'm not prepared and I don't have a clip with me. So I can just hold it like this, let it cool. You let it cool for a few minutes so that it knows that, okay, this is the direction that I need to go now. Okay, I've let this cool for a few minutes now, and it is feeling pretty set in its spot. And you can already tell here on my right side, these fibers are wanting to come forward a little bit, whereas on my left side, they're definitely staying pretty straight on my left side, so they're not going to come forward and flop in my face as much as they would. And this, of course, helps set that center part. So now I'm just going to do the same thing on my right side here, making sure not to linger too much in one spot. And this just helps to set that part and set where you want your fibers to go. So I'm going to let this now sit in this position. I have set the part. That is pretty much all I do. It's really easy peasy. Whether or not you want to do a center part, left part, right part, you would do the same thing. And that's just going to help make sure your fibers are going to go where you want them to go. In terms of the density of model mode, I'm not going to say it's a light density, but it's also not a medium density. This is definitely kind of in between a light to medium density. If you are aware of selfie mode, which is a wig that Raquel Welch released prior to this one, I think in the summertime. Selfie mode is a similar style. It's a longer wavy piece, a bit shorter than model mode, probably to about here. But for me, selfie mode felt like there was a ton of hair. This is less than selfie mode in my opinion. And this one also does not have permatease. So when you don't have any permatease, that means that it's not gonna feel like a poofy helmet on top of your head, and it's gonna lay more low profile and closer to your head. So let me spin around so you can see quickly what I'm talking about, how it's laying more flush to my head there. Model mode also fits pretty true to average. I am 20.5 inches in circumference, 11.5 inches front to nape, and 11.5 inches ear to ear. This is a little bit big on me as I am a petite size. However, it's not humongous. I don't feel like I'm swimming in it, so I wouldn't say it's an average large. It just feels big on me. But overall, the ear tabs are sitting pretty nicely on me, just above my ear crease here and just ahead. You don't want it like right in your ear crease because that would be really bothersome. You want it just a little bit above and just a little bit ahead. And now on this side too, it's that same spot. So for me, the ear to ear fit on this is pretty good. It's broaching the uncomfortable if it was like half a centimeter bigger, but it's pretty much perfect to where it needs to be. And then within the rest of the cap, there is a little bit of extra bulk, but it's not an insane amount. And then of course, in the circumference, you always have the ability to use the adjusters to bring it in, make it a bit smaller if you need to, or make it a bit bigger. But overall, there is a good amount of stretch in here. So if you are more of an average large circumference, this would fit you too. All right, let me show you this lace front quickly. Raquel Welch always brings the lighter pieces forward to help make the knotting less visible. And then let me give you a closer look at this monofilament top. All right, I feel like I spent a lot of time on model mode, so I'm gonna jump right into the next shortest one that they have released this fall, which is Cruise Control. Cruise Control is a nice longer bob sitting sort of just around your shoulder length. Now this one though, the cap is gonna be a little bit different. Now this one, it's not technically a monofilament part. It does allow you to change the part, but what this really is a hand-tied top. So it's the same idea in the sense that all of the fibers are completely hand sewn onto this section here, which allows you to change the part, and it also gives you the illusion of scalp. However, on a hand-tied top, they have sort of a double layer of, I don't know, it's almost like tulle, I guess, tulle-like material. And what they do with hand-tied tops as opposed to monofilament tops is they're sewn more into clusters. So overall, the knotting is going to be a little bit bigger. The appearance is going to be a little bit different. Let me show you if you can see. That is what the hand-tied top is going to look like. You can kind of see the clusters of hair on this tulle-like material. Whereas here, this is a monofilament. It's gonna look a little bit different. All right, also on cruise control, we are going to have a partially hand-tied cap. So that means that this section up here is going to be that same sort of tulle hand-tied material where all the fibers are hand knotted. But in the bottom half here is going to be some closed wefting, and that's gonna add a little bit more structure to the wig. We also have some velvet ear tabs with those metal stays in them, velvet extended nape, and Velcro adjusters. So overall, when you have a completely hand-tied top, partially hand-tied cap like this, it's gonna allow the hair to move in a little bit more of a free and natural way. It's going to be great for styling, and it also means that you're not gonna have any permatease where those hand-tied portions are going to be. But let me do the switcheroo here, and I will put on cruise control. And this is in the color RL16/21SS Shaded Sand. So with these hand-tied caps, they aren't as stretchy as the open wefted cap or all of Raquel Welch's open wefted caps. These will fit just a little bit smaller. They are still within that average fit, just slightly smaller than the open wefted ones and less stretchy. So if you are a petite average or a petite sized head like I am, you're probably gonna appreciate the fit of these partially hand-tied caps a little bit more than their open wefted caps. So I do find that this cap fits me a little bit more nicely than the open wefted cap. Now, the density on cruise control, in my opinion, is more of a light to medium density. I wouldn't say this is a light density piece, but then like I said, we don't have any permatease on this, so it will lay pretty flush to your head. I do feel like overall though, this does have a lot of natural body to it. I don't know if you can tell, but like I said, there's no permatease in this, but it just does have that natural shape to it, and that just comes from the style itself. Now, this is one that I've actually already set the part on. So the exact same thing I did with my hot comb and my spray bottle of water, I did to this one already. I have not worn this out and about at all yet, but I have set the part and worn this for another video. So this is sort of what it looks like out of the box. I haven't done anything other than set the part and just comb through this. And of course, you can part it on the left, on the right, in the center. I have this one parted just slightly to the left, and that is where I like it for this particular piece. If you wanted a center part, let me show you what that might look like. There you go. Or if you wanted a right part, or I'll go even deeper, do a deeper part here, so we can see what that might look like. You can do that too. You just might find that you need to get some heat to train your fibers to go away from your face if you find them to be a little bit face floppy. But here she is with a deeper right part. Okay, now let me get it back to the part I had already set for it, which should be pretty easy to find since I used heat to get those fibers to go in that spot right there. I find that cruise control is a really great length because it is not so long that it's gonna get super tangly, and it's sitting just at your shoulder level. So it's not going to get as frizzy and frazzly as it would if it were beyond your shoulders. When it's beyond your shoulders, that's when it starts to really rub at your clothing and start to tangle up, and when you'll need to brush it a little bit more in order to get those tangles out. And when you have that friction, and when you have the brush going through your fibers and pulling on them, that is what creates the frizzly frazzlies. Now, that's not to say that this isn't gonna get frizzly and frazzly and crunchy at the ends. You still are going to need to apply heat to the ends here in order to maintain their softness. However, since this is a straighter style than model mode was, you're gonna have an easier time applying heat. I would recommend using a blow dryer brush, like one of those hot air round brushes, and go through them by spraying water, go through them, and having that round brush is gonna help maintain the structure of this style here while it's getting out the frizzy. But just know that even though it's shorter, it's gonna be less frizzy, less frazzly, less tangly, you're still going to have to maintain it with heat. Okay, let me grab the final wig here. And this one is called Flash Forward. This is gonna be the shortest one of the bunch. So Flash Forward is gonna have that full monofilament top, just like model mode, and it's gonna have a lace front. However, this lace front is going to just be temple to temple. It's not going to extend into your ear tabs here. So it is going to stop right around here, as opposed to on cruise control here, you have the lace going all the way to about the spot right there. So the difference will be about that much in terms of lace lost. Flash Forward is also going to have an open wefted cap, just like model mode. This one's going to have some silicone strips all throughout your wefting though, which is really great for some added security and grip to your hair or to your scalp. We also have our velvet ear tabs with the metal stays, velvet extended nape, and Velcro adjusters. So let me get this one on for you. Take cruise control off and do the switch. Now, in terms of fit, I do feel like this one is the biggest out of the three. This one definitely is fitting more of an average large. It is kind of getting into my ear creases here. I find that I would probably be a little bit bothered by this one. It's right in my ear crease there. So the ear to ear measurement does feel just like a little bit bigger than model mode was. And then overall, in terms of the circumference, it's pretty loose on me, with some extra bulk in the cap as well. So I feel like this one does fit average to average large for sure. So this one is more of a stylized bob here. We do have these bangs in the front, so you could give yourself a little bit of a side swept look, or if you wanted to part it in the center, it can also give off the illusion of a little bit of a curtain bang, a longer curtain bang as well. So you do have this shorter bang in the front, which you could also absolutely bring forward and cut your own straight bang if that's what you're into. Just know that you'll have to heat train the fibers to fall forward a little bit more so that they're gonna want to come forward instead of to the side, of course. The style has lots of layering in it though, so you can see all these cute little layers in it, and it definitely has that structure at the ends to help it give you that sort of sophisticated bob look. All right, let me spin for you. So here's that lace front, and like I said, it's just that temple to temple, so it's gonna stop right here and then not go any further than that. Now, on any wig that does have a little bit of a darker fiber, the knots are gonna be a little bit more visible. However, that being said, Raquel Welch still always does a really great job of keeping their knots as small as possible. So it is still a pretty nice lace front. And then of course you can part this one anywhere you'd like on top, because we have that full monofilament top for all of that parting versatility. Now, unlike the other two wigs I just showed you, this one is going to have some permatease throughout your cap. However, this style, I feel it needs that permatease in order to keep this shape that it has. So having that permatease in here, I don't feel makes it super big and helmet looking. It's just here to help hold that style. But the permatease is definitely there throughout the majority of the wefting, including even in the bottom here. You just won't find any permatease directly on top where any of that monofilament is. So since this one is the shortest of the three, it's going to be the least tangly and need the less combing through and brushing to obviously get rid of those tangles that won't occur very much. And it's also going to be the least frizzly and frazzly and crunchy at the ends, because it's not rubbing on your clothing as much and it's not needing a brush as frequently. So overall, even though this is still made with heat-friendly fibers, it should be pretty easy to maintain. Now, I don't think I had told you the color I'm wearing here. This is RL10/12 Sunlit Chestnut, and this, I find it to be a pretty neutral, medium to light brown color. All right, you guys, that's all I have to share today. Hopefully this was helpful for introducing you and getting you more acquainted with these 3 adorable styles that Raquel Welch just came out with this fall of 2024. Let me know below in the comments which style speaks to you the most. Like I said earlier, for me, I love the style of model mode the best. I just love long styles. However, because model mode is known to get tangly really easily, it's not a style I would wear often. I think I would save it for special occasions, which then brings me to the fact that overall, cruise control, I think, takes the top spot for me just because of the fact that it is super easy to wear. The style is not overdone. It's super simple to take care of because it is straight, and it's one that you could kind of dress up if you wanted or wear a little bit more casually. So it's definitely good for that everyday kind of a style. Thanks again for watching, you guys. I appreciate you being here, and I will see you next time. Bye, everybody.